What do I do about my fingers and playing guitar? Or should I just sell my guitar because my fingers go backward? Now, this is a question that I get in a lot of different forms, and the answer is always, it depends. And it would be so much easier if it was do this, don't do that, but the reality is it depends on what the activity is and if it is something that you enjoy doing. So if it's something that you really enjoy, I don't want you to quit doing it. I want you to tweak it and modify it so that way it works better for you. And sometimes that takes a little bit of effort, which is why if it's something that you don't really like, yeah, you're not going to want to put the effort in to make it work for you. But if you do really enjoy it, please don't give it up yet. Please start with trying to modify it first. So with guitar, I wanted to show you this. And so I have my kid's guitar, not the best guitar. And by the way, I don't play guitar, I play piano. So please do not critique my technique. But what I do want to show you in terms of hand position is what I'm talking about when I say tweak your technique. So I want you to work on adjusting your hand position so that way you're maintaining that C shape with your fingers. So if you remember, or you can look back at my video from February 14th where we were talking about a C shape with your hands. This is where your joints are most stable, you're controlled by your muscles, not doing the hyperextension thing, which is what happens so often. So I want you to look at trying to make that adjustment, and sometimes it does feel awkward and you do have to practice and go back and it's not as easy, but a lot of times once you get the hang of it, it'll work pretty well for you. Now the other thing I wanted to mention with guitar, because when I've worked with musicians and guitar players, it's something I see a lot, is you also want to watch your body position. So a lot of times for various reasons and stage performances, people tend to be rotated. Being rotated with hypermobility is really tough. So you want to make sure that you have that straight posture where you're straight here and your hips aren't going one way and your shoulders going the other, because that will end up causing you problems later. So take a look at those two things, see what you can adjust and modify, and remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time that you never hyperextend a joint, but you have to clean it up enough to where hyperextension is not your norm. Like, that's not what you're doing all the time. And the other thing you can do, so last time also I talked about splints. So I have a thumb splint that I wear when I work a lot because that's the joint that gets beat up the most in my job. Now for playing instruments, things like that, this is a ring splint, if you can kind of see that. And it prevents hyperextension within your joints. So you can get them either for this knuckle or you can get them for this knuckle. And what you can do is if you have that finger that just does not want to get on board, you've tried, you've modified, but it still tends to hyperextend, you can get a splint that will help support that. Now you don't necessarily want to splint all of your fingers. You want them to be able to do what they can do, but sometimes you have that one, like a lot of times my fourth finger, like it just doesn't want to get with the program. So you can split that to keep that from doing that. And that's another way where you can support yourself, still do what you love, and be able to do it better. Now, because I have gotten quite a few questions about these splints, just a reminder, the ones that I tend to use, silverringsplint.com, they are out of Virginia in the US and do a great job. You do have to have a measuring kit, and the measuring kit just has a bunch of sizing rings, so that way you can make sure that what you're getting is going to be the right size for you. But they have a lot of different types. They have splints where you can straighten out fingers, so I do that quite a bit for clients. These help with hyperextension, and then they have thumb options. So take a look at that if that's something that you're interested in, and at least know that there are options out there.